We'll review the key moments of this thriller, and if our recap intrigues you, you can watch the full movie from its original source. Today we're diving into the chilling world of 15 cameras, where a man named Cam's curiosity leads him down a dark path of spying on his sister-in-law. But be warned, his voyeuristic habits will ultimately seal his terrifying fate. Buckle up for a twisted tale of hidden cameras, deadly secrets, and shocking revelations. In the shadows, a man waits for the victim before attacking her with a hammer. After this horrific act, the victim's girlfriend arrives, and the criminal goes into hiding and thinks out his next move. Disturbing footage of these incidents is presented in a documentary series called The Legacy Chronicles. Skye watches the program while flirting with her husband, Cam. He points out that she shouldn't watch a home invasion so soon after moving into their new residence. Despite his advice, Skye is engrossed in the documentary, and Cam heads off to bed. The next day, Cam is renovating a neighboring apartment, intending to rent it out. He encounters a particularly difficult problem. The water heater makes an unpleasant ticking sound. In the afternoon, Skye's sister Carolyn temporarily moves in with them. When she visits Cam, Carolyn says she doesn't want her husband to know where she is, and the conversation becomes awkward. Carolyn is nervous to learn the history of the duplex and soon discovers that the previous owner was a slumlord killer known for installing cameras in rented houses. Shocked, Carolyn worries about hidden cameras, but the couple reassures her based on the contractor's assurance that there were no cameras. Cam brushes off her concerns, emphasizing that the killer is no longer a threat. Nevertheless, Carolyn is horrified that her sister bought the house despite knowing about its dark past. Later, when they watch the documentary, they discover that there are cameras throughout the duplex, which worries Carolyn further. The program continues with interviews of the victim's friends. Feeling anxious, Carolyn decides to take a shower. In her absence, Skye berates Cam for talking about Carolyn's husband Gio and admits it was unwise. Cam goes to check the water heater and discovers not only a clicking sound, but also the presence of insects. In shock, he drops his cell phone and discovers a hidden section of wall leading to a secret office with surveillance equipment. Upon discovering footage of Carolyn in the bathroom, Cam is at first startled but then finds himself intrigued. However, he restrains himself and turns off the computer before crossing a disturbing line. At dinner, Cam tries to tell the women about his discovery, but Carolyn cringes when she sees a silhouette through the curtains. Getting ready for bed, Cam attempts to tell Skye about his discovery, but she is distracted by the sheer amount of visual information about the slum killer on her cell phone. The killer seems creepy to her, and Cam passively agrees, secretly contemplating how to use the surveillance system. The next day, as the sisters argue about Carolyn's husband, Cam's curiosity takes over. He sneaks into the apartment and begins to explore the hidden camera's functions. It is only then that Cam begins to feel guilty about his actions with his sister-in-law. Trying to find another way out, he becomes convinced that he can look into the apartment's shower room as well, and an idea occurs to him. After renovating the rental property, the couple begins interviewing potential tenants. Cam has no interest in having men among the tenants, but becomes excited when he meets two female university students considering the apartment. Later, Skye suspects that the girls may turn out to be rowdy tenants with no credit history or jobs. Cam hints that male tenants may be more at risk and reminds Skye of their own difficulties at university. He encourages her to empathize with them and help. He begins flirting with his wife and they become intimate. During this act, Cam looks over his shoulder, aware that he is being recorded. He later reviews the tape and realizes how horrible it is to watch himself and his wife. Another day, Skye continues watching the documentary and learns that the slum killer bolted doors so his victims couldn't escape. The program includes an interview with one of the survivors, Kula. Although she managed to escape the killer, she is still frightened and lives under the scrutiny of reporters and strangers interested in her story. Later in the program, it's revealed that the slum killer's van was found burned to the ground, and investigators assume the man died in the fire. However, it's not yet known if there are any other hidden victims. When Skye learns this, she becomes unsure if the man is really dead and panics. A few days later, Cam sees new tenants Amber and Len move in and rushes to help them with their furniture. He tries to meet the girls and is desperate to strike up a conversation with them. However, their prolonged silence makes it clear that they are not interested in him. And he leaves. Cam carefully snuck out of the window into the secret room. At that moment, he gets a call from work, which he ignores. Cam tries to leave, but finds Amber has carelessly put a box outside, blocking the exit. Trapped, he takes another work call, lowering his voice to avoid being heard. He then sees Len changing clothes in her room. Luckily, his coworkers think he's having communication problems and decide to postpone the meeting. Later, he overhears Len say she wants to have a barbecue, giving him an idea. When Skye returns home after dinner, she's surprised to see her husband having a barbecue with the new tenants. Cam claims he was cooking to welcome the ladies, but Skye points out that he doesn't usually use the grill. As proof, the tongs he used still have tags on them, indicating he just bought them. Cam excuses himself, saying he was trying a new recipe to surprise his wife. Skye, however, is startled by his behavior and excuses herself. That same night, Cam stays late at work to catch up on tasks. Carolyn is also late, dealing with her lawyer to get a restraining order against her husband. Seeing her tiredness, Cam advises her to take a shower and relax, planning to check on her through the hidden cameras. However, Carolyn decides to go straight to bed. Frustrated, Cam starts checking out the other women under the hidden lens. A spider crawls across his keyboard, and as he tries to blow it away, he sneezes just as Len walks by on the other side of the wall. Cam breathes a sigh of relief, checks the other channels, and notices a white van slowly passing in front of the house. The next day, Cam installs soundproof foam to reduce the chance of detection. When the women return to the house, Len reveals there's a man she likes who doesn't respond to her hints. Frustrated, she declares she wants to date a man who takes initiative. Inspired, Cam impulsively takes a picture of himself and sends it to Len. Her horrified reaction prompts him to backpedal, claiming he accidentally sent her a picture meant for his wife. The tenants are suspicious, and Amber suggests he tell Skye about the photos. Realizing his mistake, Cam begs Len to delete the photo and keep it secret. He watches anxiously as Len replies, sighing in relief when she agrees to keep quiet. Later, Cam finds Skye buried in papers about the slumlord killer. She explains that she saw a white van resembling the killer's drive by their house. Accessing public records, Skye learns that investigators never confirmed the killer's death, as his remains weren't found in the burned van. Despite this, Cam tries to reassure her that the slum killer won't return. However, he suddenly remembers the locked safe and wonders if the killer might want it back. In another documentary viewing, Skye watches an interview with Kula, who recalls the killer's frequent, lingering visits to the house. Meanwhile, Cam enters a vacant room, unknowingly mimicking the slumlord killer's behavior. Surprised by Amber's return, he makes an excuse about checking the water heater. Amber reminds him that he needs permission to enter, and Cam apologizes and leaves. Outside, a white van pulls up, but the driver speeds away when Amber approaches. That night, while Cam prepares dinner, Skye receives a text from a tenant complaining about her husband's harassment. Cam tries to make light of it, but Skye scolds him for being too close to the college girls. He promises to stop, but claims everyone is being oversensitive. Upset, Skye leaves Cam to eat alone. The next morning, seeing Len and Amber leave with camping gear, Cam sneaks into their apartment. He notices the white van passing by repeatedly on the footage, and confirms that Skye has been checking for cameras. He then sees the van driver using a green laser to block outdoor cameras, realizing the man knows their locations. Just then, he witnesses Skye discovering the device in Carolyn's bathroom. Joining her, he finds Skye already knows it's a camera. Suddenly, Carolyn arrives, frightened by threatening messages she believes are from her husband. Learning this, Skye urges everyone to leave the house for their safety. That night, Carolyn's husband Gio arrives. Noticing a green laser on the door, he runs towards it but is fatally struck with a hammer. When the group returns, unaware of the night's events, Cam checks the footage. He sees one camera blocked by a green light and another showing the slumlord dragging Gio's body. Realizing the danger, Cam panics. Suddenly sprayed with air freshener, he elbows the attacker, who reveals the hidden camera. Cam stays awake all night, harassed by the knowledge that the slumlord is watching. In the morning, Skye, unaware of Cam's sleepless night, plans to turn in the device she found. Cam, trying to calm her, admits he now believes her theory about the killer being alive. Skye is pleased that her husband finally seems to be listening. Cam considers confessing everything, but ultimately decides against it. After everyone leaves, Cam messages the killer, inviting him to meet at the apartment. When the slumlord killer arrives, Cam threatens to call for help if anything happens and promises to destroy any evidence. They go to the secret room where the killer opens a safe containing dozens of rigged house keys. However, Len's unexpected return interrupts them. Cam tries to escape, but Len is horrified to see him emerging from the closet. As Len attempts to convince them to leave, the killer knocks them both unconscious. Hours later, Cam finds himself bound and gagged in the secret room, forced to watch as the killer ties up Len in the living room. When Len wakes and tries to escape, the killer finds and kills her. Skye then returns home, unaware of the danger. As she makes popcorn, she notices strange noises and finds the door screwed shut. Realizing the killer is in the house, she grabs a knife but is overpowered and tied to a table. Cam watches helplessly as the killer attacks Skye with a hammer. Though Skye fights back, the killer subdues her, but Carolyn's arrival interrupts his plan. In the ensuing struggle, the killer fatally injures Carolyn. Skye, managing to break free, fights the man and ultimately kills him with a drill, ending his reign of terror. The movie concludes with Skye appearing as a guest on the documentary she had been watching. She expresses relief that the slumlord is gone, but laments that Cam was never found. Unknown to her, Cam remains trapped in the secret room, his screams muffled by the soundproofing he installed. If you enjoyed this bone-chilling recap, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more thrilling movie breakdowns.